A few hours ago, I was on a group coaching call that was run by someone that makes in excess of $1 million per month selling digital products. Okay. And here are 6 things that I picked up or that I learned, I suppose, not because of what was directly being taught inside this particular, group coaching call, but just what I noticed from the interaction with others and people who are also in the school community, right? That is attached to this particular group where they do a lot of the coaching calls and stuff like that. But I'll share 6 things that I picked up, which the person running the group coaching call kind of touched on, right? Like things that are extremely important that a lot of times we tend to ignore, right? But I'm not necessarily going to cover like the actual tactics and things that you need to do, right? These are just things that I picked up just on the surface. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Now, before we get into all that, if you are interested in learning how to sell digital products, whether it's your own digital products that you create, right, as the owner, or selling other people's digital products as an affiliate, if you'd like to learn how to do all that stuff, check out the first link in the description below this video. It will give you access to some training that will show you how to do exactly just that, giving you the right training with the proper foundation that will set you up for long-term success. Okay, so if you like to get started with that, check it out. I'd highly encourage it, especially if you are someone that has a YouTube channel going or any kind of social media presence. It's a great way to start monetizing your channel early on, right from the start, as opposed to waiting to get monetized, like say through the YouTube partner program with AdSense or whatever partner program any of the other social media platforms have. All right, so if you want to get going making some money with that, check out that first link in the description below this video. Okay, now getting on with the 6 different things that I picked up from this, from being on one of these coaching calls. This is actually, they've been having these calls, right? This was just the first one that I decided to or at least had the opportunity to be able to get on, right, while it was actually happening. And it's a good thing, right, because these are Zoom calls, because you two also get to, ask questions and stuff like that. Obviously, because of limitation with time and all that, you can only have but so many people. But I did get to observe and see what was going on and how it was. And there was, I think the major reason why I wanted to get on is to hear from someone that's actually literally doing the thing that I'm trying to do, right? But they're doing it at a much higher level, right? $1 million in sales in digital products, sales per month is nothing to sneeze at, okay? And there are people doing even way more than that, but it's just nice to have someone accessible, right, that you can actually interact with that way. So first things first. So the first thing I picked, it was, here's the sad reality, right? Most people who try to get into, selling digital products or get into digital marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever the case may be, or any other of these online business models, right? Whether it's YouTube automation, Amazon FBA, whatever the case may be. Most people are going to fail before they even give themselves a chance to succeed, okay? And why is that? Because of the way we as people are wired. We're always, especially in, more advanced, like in first world countries, a place like in the United States, right? Our biggest problem, our biggest anchor is instant gratification, okay? That problem it's like it's a bad problem, right? Instant gratification, and it runs deep, right? It runs deep through, it's in our fabric, right? People are used to getting fast food, they want something, they get it now, that type of stuff. And the same applies to when it comes to, looking to have some kind of success with starting an online business, right? Getting to digital marketing and affiliate marketing and all that type of stuff. And sometimes you can't necessarily blame people because they see all these others seemingly have overnight success, right? When they don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, right? Because unfortunately, because of the way a lot of this stuff is promoted, it may seem like it's a, overnight riches type stuff when it's really not the case. Okay. But if we can step away from the desire to be instantly gratified and focus on the long term and doing the work over time, you have a much better chance of actually getting the results that you want, right? The problem is too oftentimes people come on and they've seen whatever they've seen and they expect to get results like within a week, 2 weeks, a month, and it just doesn't work that way. Okay. So that was one of the things that, and I saw this you see this sometimes with the interactions and sometimes with people who, who might not necessarily be aware, right? They're expecting things to happen right now, right? But it just doesn't work that way. Second thing I picked up there, or the second lesson, right, is the biggest thing is to not compare yourself to others, right, when you're getting started with this stuff. Again, I kind of touched on it already, right, where people will see other people making crazy amounts of money and then they come in expecting to have the same results. Because this is the thing, right? If you are brand new, you cannot take your day one, right, day 0 or day 1 and compare it to somebody else's day 100, right? They've already been doing this for 3 months plus. On the grand scheme of things, 3 months is really nothing. But for somebody that's actually putting in the work and doing what's required, that is a significant enough amount of time to really, put a dent into whatever it is you're trying to achieve, right? And if you are new, starting on day 0 and then after, 2, 3, 4 days and you're not seeing what you're looking for, and you can't be comparing yourself to people who are way ahead of you and all the time and all that, right? It's okay to look at others just for maybe say inspiration or to know what's possible and all that type of stuff, but don't expect to have the same results as somebody else. We're all running our own individual races. We have different experiences and our results are going to be unique to us to a certain degree, right? So avoid, don't look to compare yourself to others all the time, right? So that was the second thing. The third thing this one I actually picked up from, from the mentor, the coach, the guy who was actually running the group coaching call. And this was, he was saying this based off of his own experience, right? The people who do succeed with this, right? The people who end up succeeding with this are the people who have their minds made up right from the start. Okay. These are the people who know that failure is not an option, right? They are going to succeed, right? There is no other way around it. They are going to succeed. They know what they want. They put their minds to it and they're not going to stop until they get what they want. The guy, he basically said he had this mentality, right? And bear in mind, it's not like he's been doing this for ages, right? It's only, I think he said it's only been like a short 5 years, right? Because 5 years is actually, on the grand scheme of things, when you compare it to traditional brick and mortar businesses or other businesses, go from 0 within 5 years, to go from 0 to making $1 million a month. That's huge. Okay. That's huge. Right. But this was because he had this relentless attitude of never say die, and I am going to make this work, right? This is going to happen for me. That is one of the biggest factors that contributed to him being as successful as he is. And he was just basically telling us, a lot of people, they get into all this space and they have this, basically a lot of people get in, they want to dip their toes in the water, right? They want to dip their toes in the water and see how things are going to look, as opposed to diving and going all in and committing to the process, right? Especially when you have somebody right there beside you who has actually done what you're trying to do, showing you the way to go about it, right? One of the things which was really interesting, like in the group coaching call, one of the things that I noticed, right, like with the coach, like people, like some of the, like the people who were taking the training, like myself, right, they have their way that they wanted to do stuff. Okay. And I could see expressions on people's faces when the coach was telling them, like, no, like, you're doing things this way, but I'm telling you that you'll be way better off if you do them this way, right? And you could see the disappointment. It's like, no, but like, it's like they're stuck wanting to do things the way they want to do it. And I've always said, like, this stuff, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Just follow what somebody who has successfully done what you're trying to do, follow what they're doing to give yourself the best chance of success. Once you've made it doing what you really like, you go ahead and experiment and do all kinds of things that you want to do. At least you have a proven process behind you in your pocket, knowing that, okay, that's always going to be the thing that works, right? But I just found it really interesting to see how people were, the good thing, the one thing that stood out to me, which was really interesting to hear, was he mentioned, like, people are asking questions and he's giving answers, and it's like, he said something that he said, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, even if you don't like it, right? If like, his job is to help you move the needle, take your business to the next step. And, it's not going to do you any good. He's not doing you any favors. He was saying he's not doing them any favors if he just sugarcoats everything and tells them what they want to hear, right? So, that was, I thought that was pretty interesting. Then, but anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent there. That third point was more about, it should have been more about, like, having that attitude of your mind being made up and you're going to succeed at this or you're going to die trying, right? So that was, that was one of the things that was key to his success, right? Then, here's the other one, right? Again, a lot of these things, they sound kind of redundant, but, because they kind of touch, they're related to each other. They kind of touch on each other. But here's the other thing too. So this next point was like, this stuff, right? It's not a get rich quick scheme. Okay. That's the first thing that you need to understand. It's not a get rich quick scheme. However, having said that, it is a business in which you can make a lot of money if you put your mind to it and if you actually do the work and you commit to the process, right? And you trust the process. It is something from which you really can make a lot of money. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, the problem is sometimes the way this stuff is marketed, it can give people the wrong idea, right? And this, because of the way it's marketed, people come in with the wrong expectations, and they're left disappointed and left like feeling they've been cheated or they've been duped or they've been scammed, right? That's another word that gets thrown around so carelessly, right? That word scam, everything's a scam. People are so quick to label anything a scam if it doesn't come out exactly the way they want it to come out. Let's just put it that way, or the way they think it should come out because they paid money for it and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, so understand that this, doing digital marketing, promoting whatever it is that you're promoting, because of the wide scale that you can, because you're on the internet and you can reach, it's not like a physical brick and mortar business that there's only but so many people that you can reach based on how many people come to your store and all that type of stuff. This is the World Wide Web, so you can reach an infinite number of people, and because of that, you can make a lot of money fairly quickly, right? I mean, it's possible, but that's not the norm, and it shouldn't be the expectation, right? You still have to have that long-term mindset. But remember, it is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But having said that, it is something that can make you a decent amount of money, all right? So that was the fourth thing, one of the four things that was pointed out. And then make sure you hang around for the very last one, because that is probably the most, easily the most important thing that I picked up from all of this, right? So the fifth thing was, like, again, these things they're all kind of similar, right? It's the whole idea of fixing your mindset, right? You got to fix your mindset when it comes to this entrepreneurship stuff, online business, and all the like. Too many people come into this with they still have the 9 to 5 mindset, right? Where you go in, you clock in, you work X number of hours, so you're going to get X number of dollars back in return, pretty much guaranteed every single time, no matter what, okay? And and again, this is just what society grooms us for, trains us for. You go to school, learn how to get good grades and all that. You go out, you get a job, that you get a salary or a wage, whatever that is. You work X number of hours in return for X number of dollars in guaranteed pay, essentially. But when it comes to, business online, right, you have to understand that you can't have the mentality of asking like, how many hours does it take to make X number of dollars, or like how much time are you going to have to spend, or how long of a time frame are you going to have to work before you start making money, right? It doesn't work that way. You have to understand that starting out, you're going to be working just like you would work a job, but you're just not getting paid for it, right? Not yet anyway, right? But you're building the foundation that will help you eventually get to the point where you're getting paid for it really well, because you start making sales over time, right? Because of the nature of the business, right? Especially when it comes to the way we generate traffic, it's typically organically when starting out. If you're new, of course, you can go for paid traffic as well. But then again, you need to know what you're doing with that, because you can lose money very quickly when you don't know what you're doing. Okay. So, but the biggest thing here is fixing your, one of the things that you have to understand is fixing your mindset, and not only fixing your mindset, but taking care of your day-to-day life, right? If you're troubled by a lot of stuff in your day-to-day life, whether it's your marriage falling apart or things not going well with your relationships or your friends or what, all those things are things that you don't realize it, but they mess with your mind and they creep into the performance of your business as well. Okay. So those are things that you need to take care of. If you're not eating properly, if you're not going to bed on time, you're not waking up early and doing all the things that you need to do, like the right way, taking care of your health and all that type of stuff, whether you realize it or not, all that stuff creeps into the way you run your business. And if you're not taking care of those preliminary things, your business is going to suffer. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. Fix your mindset, fix your life and all that type of stuff. And then this last one, okay. This wasn't necessarily something that was brought up, but it took me it's stuff that I was already aware. These are things that I was already aware of, right? This is something that I was already aware of, right? But it was just interesting to see it played out, right? When it comes to whatever it is that you do in life or in business and all that type of stuff, the people you have around you, the immediate people you have around you, like your circle, it could be a circle of people that will propel you forward, or that can be your cage that will hold you back, right? Depending on who you have around you, the people and where am I going with this? It was just so interesting to see like the kind of numbers that people were throwing around, it's just, in conversation, like if the question was asked, like, how much are you making per month, with your, with the online business, with your digital marketing business or affiliate marketing, whatever it is, or if you're doing network marketing, whatever it is that you're doing, right? There was, right, a set of people who were doing, 0 to 5 to 10K a month, right? And then there are those who are stuck at 10K a month and they're looking to move into the next phase of making 10, 20 to 50K a month, right? And then there are those who are stuck at the 30, 50K a month and who are trying to move to the next level, right? Obviously, the trainer, the coach, he's doing $1 million a month, so he has experience of having gone through all those phases, right? But when I heard, like, you see all the different people talking, like, and this is multiple different people, they're discussing and they're talking. This is when things were opened up for question and answers, right? Q&As, right? And there was this one lady or one talking about how they're stuck at like 30,000 a month, and sometimes maybe 30 to 50,000 a month, and 55 is the best they've done, and they don't know what to do in order to move to the next phase. They want to make that 100K a month and all that, but it's just, when you look at that, and this is just a group of people, a bunch of people, men, women, all likes, and talking, it's just normal for them to talk about the fact that they're making these kind of numbers, right? And they're looking to level up. If you are not around people who are talking like that, right? You're going to be limited in terms of your belief, in terms of what you think is possible, what can be achieved, right? If your your immediate circle of people, or the people that you interact with and all that, all they know or think about is just, getting drunk or maybe just working, just your regular work week and making minimum wage and they're okay with that, right? Like, nothing wrong with people making minimum wage. There are people who make 40K a year, or 20K or whatever it is, and they are as happy as can be, and that's awesome. Great for them, right? But if you are somebody that wants more, and all the people that you're hanging out with or spending time with, that is all they're looking at, and they have no interest in moving to, like, doing better or making bigger moves, the right moves and all that, you are going to be kind of in a cage, in a sense, right? Like, the mentality of the people around you and how the things they talk about, the things that they discuss, the things that are important to them, right? That becomes like part of your fabric, and that's where you're going to get stuck at. Whereas if you are around people who it's normal for them to talk about making 30, 40, 50K a month, and like, how can they move up to the next level of making 100K a month, and beyond that, and you have multiple different people talking like that, it becomes normalized, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is something that's really doable. I mean, a lot of people are doing this, right? Because these kind of conversations, believe me, like, if it's just like in everyday, like, just mainstream and all the, like, people will look at this and just be like, what kind of nonsense scam type stuff is this, right? Nobody makes that kind of money, right? Because, with your traditional jobs, most people are not going to be making that kind of money, right? So it just can't sound right. So pay attention to the people you have around you. And this is the best thing I'll tell you. Get into some of these communities of people who are doing the same thing as you and doing it even better, who are aspiring to do the same thing as you, right? Who are also on the journey of trying to get better and get higher. Get into those communities and start interacting with people, and you will see yourself level up, so to speak. It's one of the reasons why, like, changing your environment, like being in an environment where people are doing really well, succeeding. That's one of the things that, like, for instance, like, if I wanted to make a move, I would want to be around, like, go to a place where a lot of people are doing really well. That type of stuff can either motivate you to want to do better if you're that type of person, or you can be the type of person where it makes you feel bad, right? It makes you feel like less than, or why don't you have what they have, and all that type of stuff. So it's just get around the right people, and that's where all these online communities of people doing the same stuff like you comes into play. If I would highly encourage you to get into one of these, right? And here's the thing, right? If you're wondering, like, where to find them, it's just a lot of these courses, trainings, they tend to have, like, their own communities that are full of people doing the same stuff that you're doing, networking, all that type of stuff. So I would highly encourage you to get going with one of those. But if you're interested, like, now the training that I mentioned, for instance, first link in the description below this video, is a sort of place where you can get into that, get into like a group. You will get access to, people, and access to people in trainings and interviews of people who are doing well and all that type of stuff. So check it out if you want to start interacting with people who are doing better with the kind of things that you want to do. All right. That's going to be that first link in the description below this video. All right. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you found this somewhat helpful or really helpful. All right. Let me know in the comments what hit home for you, or one of the things that one of the points that you thought were would make a real difference for you. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, put them in the comments. I'll be sure to respond. All right. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao.